Hey, good afternoon. It's Gary Jordan with the Jordan Property Group, brokered by eXp Realty. Today, we're going to talk about a very, very important topic for the consumer who may be considering buying a home, as well as to a realtor who may have a client who's wanting to buy a home. I've got a real good friend and real professional in the mortgage industry, John Trainum with Integrity Mortgage, joining us today. I don't have all the answers about mortgages, but John does. That's why he's here. So, John, welcome to the broadcast today. I'm happy you're here.
Thank you, Gary, and I appreciate you having me on.
You bet.
It's great being a part of your team, your sphere of influence. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Well, you're a very important part of it. You always do a great job for my clients, and I appreciate you. Now, tell us a little bit about who is this John Trainum guy? What's your background, and growing up and family, and what got you from where you were to where you are right now?
My dad was in the Air Force, so that's how we eventually ended up here. He was lucky enough to get stationed at Peterson Field. I pretty much grew up here, since, junior high school. So I've seen the challenges and the changes that, Colorado Springs has faced and kind of gotten through over the years. So as close as you can be to, being a native, I think that would describe me. I went away to school up in Fort Collins, went to CSU for a little while, but ended up, after I got my degree, I came back down here and then somehow, wound up in the finance and real estate industry.
So, tell me about your family. Yeah, we have a family.
And interestingly enough, back in the day, that's kind of how I met my wife, was in the industry. And so we now, and that was a few years ago, of course. And now I've got 4 children and 5 grandchildren. Been married 20 plus years, we'll say. So yeah, she's definitely my rock and big support.
Okay, John, what was it that directed you from your previous career to the mortgage industry?
Well, I've always been a people person. I like working, obviously, and I do well one-on-one. I've always had, and even going into, when I was in college and when I got out of college, I thought I want to be in the banking industry. I had finance in my degree, and then it was interesting how I kind of gravitated from working in totally an office space, just helping clients finance small, consumer loans, car loans, that type of thing, and then it graduated into, I like helping people make important decisions like this, like buying a house. That's one of the biggest things that most consumers, are going to deal with in their time.
No doubt about that. Now, as a realtor, it's my 14th year in the business. I've learned over the years, sometimes the hard way, that it's really, really important if you have a home buyer to get them in touch with a good mortgage professional who knows the business really well and get them pre-approved for a mortgage prior to looking for homes. I know that getting pre-approved is a process. I want you to kind of expand on that in a few minutes, but we need to know as a realtor that our client for sure can perform and can buy a home if they find the one they want. We don't want to be showing 20 homes and days and hours and dollars and gas and so forth. We got a client who's just a looky-loo. So being pre-approved is really, really important. We need to know also as a realtor whether that client is qualified to go shopping in the $1 million store or the $300,000 store. And you're the guys we go to and depend upon, let us know which store to go shopping in. So that being said, John, from your standpoint, from your side of the desk, tell us about from your how you see the pre-approval process, why it's so important for your client to be pre-approved, and what can they expect to go through to get ready to go shopping and really uh, to pull the trigger when they find that perfect home.
Sure, sure. And so when we first hear from the potential home buyer, obviously that's their goal. We at least we hope, we want to see them get into a property. They want to try and get into a home, especially if they have a family. So like I tell people when I first start working with them, are you, that's one of the first questions I'll ask is, have you reached out to a real estate professional yet? And, and then what we disclose to them is, hey, the first thing they're going to want to know is, are you pre-approved? Are you pre-approved? And just what is this pre-approval, process? What does it mean? So when we first get a buyer, in, we're going to first of all, talk to them a little bit about, what it is they do right now. And I mean, I can send somebody a link and have them fill out an application, but that's kind of impersonal. I really like trying to, I want to talk to the person, get to know them a little bit more and see where they are in their, not only their professional life, but their life as, hey, what is it that you're trying to, what are your goals? What are you wanting to do here? So, we're going to need to take an application to start this, to start this process. And that's 9 times out of 10, that is probably one of the key ingredients to this, is making sure that we have a thorough, good, application. Okay. That, we're answering all the questions, and if there isn't something in that, if there's something that is missing, or, if they've left stuff out, which borrowers tend to do it from time to time. You can't remember everything, but, we're going to make sure that we have as complete an application as possible. So from there, we're going to make, we're going to pull credit. We're going to look at how long they've been, at their particular job, whether they're a wage earner, 1099, or self-employed. There's all kind of different sets of rules for each of those categories. And so obviously I'm going to sit my borrower down and say, yep, before you're going to go talk to, Gary, about, and if that's the first thing he's going to want to know is, what are you pre-approved for? And so, the process is going to involve me getting, once again, getting the credit pulled, deciphering not only, this is what, we're going to use, we're going to look at the income and the type of job that they have, and kind of break that down. And then we're going to look at their debts. And then I'm going to talk about comfort zone. What are you comfortable with every month in a monthly payment? And this is going to, these are the things that are going to lead us to where this borrower really should be. Somebody may qualify for more than they're comfortable for, on a monthly payment. And some people want to put a lot of money down. So it's each case. That's what's so fascinating about this side of the business. Each case is so unique and specific to the client that, no two alike. But that's what we're going to do, is we're going to narrow down based on this person's credit. Can they go conventional, or is this looking more like an FHA? Is this a military person? Okay, so obviously you have an eligibility. We can look at VA. So many different options.
What kind of timeline does it typically, John, before you're able to give the client and his or her realtor a pre-approval letter they can use to accompany a offer to purchase a home?
So really, from the time I get an application from a borrower and we get credit pulled, I am going to reach back out to the borrower to shore up any questions that I have based on what may or may not have shown up on that in that credit report. It's like, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you said you thought your credit score was in the 750 range when it happens to be in the lower 600 range, or you didn't tell me about all these student loans. So we'll definitely want to shore up everything, making sure it's matching what we have on the application. But this is a process, typically if I can get some income documentation that I can verify, okay, from the borrower, and usually if they're in this process and ready to go, that's something that can happen, usually within an hour or two. Okay. So, the actual pre-approval process, once I have credit and income verification, we run them through automated underwriting and generate pre-approvals fairly quickly today.
Well, good. I'll hold you to that hour from now on.
Assuming I'm in the office or in town, yeah.
Exactly. Well, I'll say this as a realtor for 14 years, I've found how important it is to have a relationship with a mortgage professional that I can contact, have a conversation, get a response back in a reasonable amount of time, whether it be by phone call or by text, but have communication with somebody that I know, like, and trust, that can shoot me straight as far as what my client can and cannot do, or what my client needs to provide you to help you get them across the finish line. So it's a real team effort, and, you really miss that when all of a sudden a client has a mortgage professional from the World Wide Web somewhere out in BFE. You don't know where it's coming from, and no relationship.
And I've always heard it said that trying to maneuver this process with a totally online based lender with no source of, can I go in and see this person, shake their hand, how is it to get a hold, how are they to get a hold of and transfer information? So obviously those are going to be some of your challenges with the .coms. Here at Integrity Mortgage, we're maybe a little bit, what you might call old fashioned. We have an office that somebody, that you can actually walk in and shake hands with us. But obviously, in today's day and age, like we were mentioning before, you got to have that online presence, and, you got to be able to do things online. And that's where a majority of our business comes from anyway. But that being said, and that's another thing that just to kind of dovetail on what you were saying too earlier about the team aspect, that's my goal too, especially if it's a referral from a real estate agent. I want to let you know as quickly as possible, if this is somebody that is ready to go now, or if it's going to take some time because they just started a new career, or they've switched from being a salaried person to 1099. So we're going to look at all of this stuff, and I want to get back to you as quickly as possible to let you know, this person's ready to go. Here's their comfort zone, Gary, and then you go do what you do.
That's important. Now, I know that mortgage professionals, a lot of your business comes from other realtors. So you have relationships with.
Absolutely.
You occasionally get a phone call, maybe off of just a search, and find your name on Google searches and so forth. But we as realtors really appreciate good, strong relationships with seasoned, experienced mortgage professionals like yourself. You're a great source of referrals to me, and vice versa. The best case scenario for a realtor is to have a mortgage professional that you exchange referrals. It's not just a one-way deal. In most cases, I've found over the years, it's considered to be a one-way deal. The mortgage professional got their hands out, bring me business, and that's okay, as long as you get the job done. Getting the job done is the main thing. But what we really appreciate, what really puts a mortgage professional higher up the ladder, is those who will be marketing themselves also, creating business themselves also, and also providing referrals and business to us too. Great business is a two-way street.
Absolutely, absolutely, and and I can't take full credit, obviously, for everything here at Integrity Mortgage. They've built this business up over the past 20 years here in the community as a local lender. We're now a banker, so we fund our own, and we have a very high rating. When you look at Google or whatnot, our reviews are very strong. So when you have your borrower or your buyer come to me and they want it, well, who is this lender that you're referring me to? It's nice for me to be able to say, well, go look this up online, because I have every bit of confidence is that when they look at our reputation and online presence, it's very strong.
Well, thank you, John. Well, anyway, those who are watching today, whether you're a home buyer or you're a realtor or maybe both, if you understand the value of having a relationship with a good mortgage professional, especially if you're in the Colorado Springs area or in Colorado in general, I recommend John Trainum and Integrity Mortgage highly. He gets the job done. He does respond, promptly and typically has the right answers. So, John, if they do want to talk to you in person, or maybe even come to your office, you got a door and a handle and lights and stuff for a real office. That's a possibility. Right. How do they get a hold of you, John?
That's right. So yeah, we're here in town. If you're one of those people that likes to meet someone in person, we're up next to the Springs East Library off of Montebello and Union, right on Library Lane. You can't miss us. And then the office number here is 719-638-0531, where you can always reach me directly, always on my cell phone, 719-337-9027.
Okay, super. You guys call John. You'd be happy you did. John, thanks a million for your time today, for your information. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, and let's do some more deals. Okay.
Absolutely, Gary. No, I always appreciate it. Great talking to you again. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Okay.